guys, Broker Brett here with another episode of the Attached from Point News Roundtable with one of my closest allies, Gilad, Shai out of InsurTech LA, out of Westwood. Me, him, and Stephen Goldstein caused a lot of trouble in this neighborhood, and the ITC folks have been kind enough to give us an opportunity to promote the platform down here together. So, Gilad, how you doing this morning?
Amazing. Happy Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Friday. I'll get this posted quick. We'll post this today. Who knows? Let's just jump right on it.
Sure.
So what's going on, Gilad? What do we have coming up in about a month and 1 day, potentially?
A month and a day. Well, actually, no. We have it up on the 9th. Actually, I picked
That's
it.
right.
Listen, it's my anniversary. So
oh, wow.
999. So
okay.
My wife made sure that I remember our anniversary. So she picked up September 9, 2009.
Perfect.
ITC LA is going to be September 9, 9 a.m.
There you go.
So
there you go.
We kept the 999, man.
I like it. 999.
That I don't have here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't want to flip that one upside down. It's bad. Yeah. And then also, so what I was flipping, so it's really cool. ITC is going to have regional events across the world kind of leading up to the 22nd. Then 22nd is the 24 hours of InsurTech. Yeah. Where they're going to bring everything together, which is pretty cool because it used to always be the biggest event for insurance and InsurTech in Vegas every year, draw thousands of people. I've kind of cheated out there before to hang out with a few folks, but there's this thing happening this year. I'm not sure if you're aware of COVID. There's something about there's like a virus or something that, shutting down events apparently. Not as familiar.
I don't know, man. I've been yours for the past 6 months. I haven't seen anything. It's like it's done. It's like from time to time. Go from the neighborhood just to it's like no. Listen, ITC is amazing, right? I've been there. I think from the first year or the second year, it started 1,000 people, 3, 4. Last year it was 7,000 people. Moved to the MGM. I think that thanks to Jay and the team, I had more than 20,000 steps every day. It was insane.
That is incredible.
No, I was looking. I was there with 2 of my colleagues, and we were looking at the Apple the Apple Health application that counts your steps. Needless to say that Nathan back in the day had the watch because he was doing triathlons, but it's like shit. We've done our work, and not in comfortable shoes, my friend.
Yeah, right. And I think it's just really cool, and it shows the adaptiveness of startups for them to pivot the event to kind of a disseminated activity, in a bunch of different regions. I'm proud of it. It's interesting, and I think we've had to adapt, and startups have been positioned in some ways to move quicker, than legacy guys who had to figure out how to get their people working from home and everything else.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting conversation, especially we're starting to see all kinds of articles that supposed to mirror or to reflect the opinion of people, that they realize that even after COVID disappears, well, it will never disappear, but it will be under some sort of a control. There is no reason to be next to your work. So they are talking about the big New York exodus, or people who are leaving San Francisco and all that stuff. I know that they are talking about that in LA, but that's from tax reasons, in my opinion. Moving to Austin and other places in the land. I think that the biggest one is for Arizona, but that's a different topic to talk about. But yeah, it's going to be interesting how things are going to progress later on, where people are going to live, how they're going to work, and let's assume everything is going to be done. Then what? Because frankly, I miss going to the office.
The office is like the gym for me. You go there to work, you kind of put that hat on. And it's funny, let's pivot back real quick just to InsurTech LA. We're going to have our buddy Stephen Goldstein emceeing, right? We have, is it Toggles, the renter's insurance for farmers that's coming out?
Yeah. So Stephen is going to be the moderator of the carrier session. That will be the second session. So we're starting actually with coffee. Unlike the MGM, we're going to have good coffee that's sponsored by our friends from Carpi Data. So the first, I think, 50 or 100 people that are going to register, going to receive a gift card so they can buy, if they are in the East Coast, lunch. If they are in the West Coast, well, breakfast, and support their local business. And as they are enjoying the content, the great content that we're going to provide them, they also can have something to nibble on, some sort of snack. And as you said, no, it's a great idea. Especially, I love it because it supports the local businesses and restaurants. And of course, we have Steven, who is going to moderate the panel. And now that panel is it's between a fireside chat. So we have Stephanie Lloyds from Farmers Insurance. She's the head of Toggle. And we may have two other folks. So we are still trying to figure out what's going to be the final one, because I just received an email from another local big carrier that they say, oh yes, are we still in? And it's like, we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
And then, so no, that's all very exciting. And how expensive is it? If I'm just a random layperson and I just want to go check it out, does it cost any money? Can I just check it out for free?
You will not believe it, but it's going to be for free.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
I would actually charge a little bit of money to get people committed, but no. So the stops, the part of the world tour, and it's great, the relationship and the collaboration with DIA, which they are the leading, they're doing a great job back in Europe. So the stops are going to be for free. I think that part of the global event, that 24-hour, over the, that may be for a very humble price ticket. But
yeah, all good. No, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it was free. You'd sent me over the information and you're like, oh, check it out. And I thought that was really cool for them to just be open, because all their events have been so high caliber, it costs money for a reason. So it's cool that they open up the regional ones.
And we would really like to have the ability to also, have people network. Now we have the first session that we said, it's the coffee. Then we have the insurance companies that are talking. Then we'll have a showcase that now for the startups, the local startups. Now I understand that it's shifted a little bit to be some sort of a bigger challenge. So they can, there will be a little, I have no idea if it's going to be a competition. It's still a little bit unknown to me, but we're going to have, at least, the local startups will have an opportunity to talk to a very wide audience. And then, of course, we have the investors, the people who truly fuel the change. Because if you want to get into the insurance space, you need a lot of capital.
100%. Yeah, that's cool that we have the whole ecosystem highlighted. And, we've had to have some flexibility. It's like anything else right now, kind of adapt on the fly, work with the mothership a little bit. It's kind of the season, got to be open. So now that'll be really exciting. And then, so we got the 9th, and then we got, I believe, the 22nd for the global 24-hour event. That's really cool. Yeah.
No, and it's going, I would really like to see that we'll have more and more, how can I say that, impact, or bringing in more the agents and the brokers into the fold. It's still,
Don't tell them, I like being the only one. I like being there early. Don't tell the other guys, Yeah, it's good.
Nah, but usually when we look at this, especially at the beginning of the InsurTech revolution, or whatever that you want to call it, most of the startups were agencies. They were just better digital agencies that went, oh, we can do it online, until they reach a certain point. And then they had to go, okay, we are now an MGA, or we are just going to disappear. And because at the end of the day, they had to do something better, not just a better website or better SEO to bring in the leads in a cheaper cost.
Well, in a way, it's just, stretching out with technology, using their tools for the little guys. I think the MGA progression makes a ton of sense, because without even too much complexity, their tools were just better than what people had, so yeah, a little bit of data scraping, a little bit of easier underwriting, and that's a big improvement, when you're not in accords and supplementals, when you're in a couple different screens and you can get a quote, it's a huge improvement,
Well, there are so many things that, we're talking about 2, 3 years ago, even more, 3, 4 years ago.
But that's like a lifetime in InsurTech. It's
No,
crazy, like in 3 years, you know?
listen, if we're talking about, the first pebble that started the ripple in our little pond, Lemonade, they IPO'd. It's like in what,
Yeah.
5 years? We have 3, if not 4 unicorns, Hippo, Root, Lemonade, and someone else that I completely forgot. Then you have the old InsurTechs
The
that just
Cover
now we
Wallet
heard.
is still, I mean, they only exited for a mere couple hundred million, it sounds like privately, but yeah.
Well, Verta4, I don't know how you, which is, like, it's one of the gorillas, but they just exited, same as applied a year or 2 years ago. For this, they exited for 5.4 billion after 20 or 30 years. Applied, I think, exited for 7 billion. iPipeline for also 2 or 3 billion, something like that last
Such a
year.
big industry with such old tech. I mean, I came into it having been around data visualization to kind of get my little startup itch scratched. And I was like, wow, like there's just obvious things that aren't happening in insurance that are part of all sorts of other ecosystems, you know? And I think we're just getting ahead of steam. I think there's plenty of room left, but let's also talk about InsurTech LA because
Yeah.
ITC's event is kind of working through Gilad's ITC or InsurTech LA chapter, where we get dozens of people out, have great speakers. I've made some of my best connections there. But yeah, why don't you kind of share with us a little bit about InsurTech LA when the world is normal, what we were doing there, maybe what you're doing now.
Well, we have the old normal and we have the new normal, right? So old normal, listen, I started in InsurTech LA because out of passion, right? I was working for Farmers Insurance, and basically I saw, oh my God, there is so much opportunity. I really like this industry, and in order to do things, you need to bring people together. To sit down in a garage and to play around, it's like great. You have 1 in a million Steve Jobs, and even they need to have a was to do that for them. But so bringing the people together, bringing the content, from finding the location that will believe in it, later on the sponsors, the crowd, being consistent about. So at the beginning, we've done it like every 6 to 8 weeks. A great speaker will come in, we'll get food, wine, and I was trying to, at the beginning I thought about just branding it as insurance and wine, but I think that was a little bit too much.
Yeah, the InsurTech has a little sizzle too. I think for whoever is out there trying to run events and do whatever else, the every other month cadence is nice because every 3 months is a little bit too slow. You're not connected. Every month to put on an event, like I was doing Broker Brews every month, it's a little bit of a hustle, every 4 or 5 weeks to try to get people together. But yeah, I think that every 2 months, every 8 weeks is kind of perfect.
So yeah, so now actually with the new normal, I increased the cadence, and the people who come in and join the conversation, because now everything is online. Right?
You've had people from all over the world now, right? Like your last one, how many attendants for Brian's book? You had a bunch of people on there.
150, something like that. So that was
awesome.
Yeah. And we have folks now that we open it. It's next event. It's actually next week on the 26th. And we have Tomer Kashi. He is the CEO of VUM Insurance, MGA. Basically, their concept is that they will insure everything that you can fly, ride, or sail, or something like that, right? So it's an on-demand for drones, for the scooters, for all kinds of small things that you need the on-demand element for that. They're an MGA. They have their technology. Their brand for the drone, I think it's Sky Eye or Ice, something like that.
That sounds cool. All the fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great. And there is a lot of work behind it, from the underwriting to the technology to how do you actually, it's like toggle it up and down. Now you're insured, now you're not insured. And of course, the claims part.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the secret sauce of any friends, but all that super interesting how stuff is, turning on, turning off, being applied when it makes sense. It's pretty cool. It's a different world.
Mm-hmm. And that's a beauty. So He's going to be the next speaker. He's going to talk from his home in Tel Aviv. Last time we had folks from, we have a great group from Nigeria. I think that they are from Lagos, and a couple from Portugal, London, New York, of course, all the Midwest, and here in California.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's funny because I don't think we have as much industry. We have more like a broker market and a little bit more of a budding like startup ecosystem too in LA. It seems to be kind of pulling people down from SF, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Because earlier they had to fly in or drive in. I don't know what's worse sometimes. It's like you've done the drive from OC all the way up to Los Angeles, which is what, 40, 50 miles?
It just all depends on time of day. So let's go back to normal time. I would leave at 2:33 in the afternoon for it to be like a 50-minute drive, and then I would like camp out at a coffee shop like across the building, across the street from that last one we had.
Vacation, my friend.
And then take off like 8 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, LA is totally fine as long as you can avoid the freeways from 6:30 to 9:30 in the morning and 4 to 7 in the evening. Just those 6 hours. Outside of that, it'll be golden.
If we are doing a California sketch, it's like, no, don't hit the 4, 5, heading south after 3.
Yeah, it looks like a freaking river of like red lights, from behind. It is insane. I don't miss, driving around as much.
Trains. Without any political statement about Train Joe or whatever the nickname, trains, public transportation, efficient.
Yeah, we should just nerd out on Mexican food in Los Angeles for a little bit. But yeah, from Orange County, I love taking the train to downtown LA. It's so freaking easy and fun and you get to chill.
When was the last time that you actually had a good taco?
That I had a good taco? There's a carniceria in Santa Ana. I'm in Costa Mesa, which is right next door. I'll go to a pretty tough, great little neighborhood, get a little cast iron pan out, heat up my tortillas on the stovetop, use a little pan to heat up the tortillas evenly. I'm half Mexican, so this is old hat for me.
What's the other half?
German, English, Scottish. So true Southern Californian, half Mexican, half German, English, Scottish,
So basically you have like 4 halves? What?
Well, my grandpa is German and my grandma's English, Scottish, and then just Mexican. So, yeah. So Tel Aviv, right? And there's the InsurTech, everything InsurTech. Half the great companies are coming out of Israel, aren't they? Like,
I've been living in the US for 11 years, right? It's always that stuff. You take it's like, Lemonade, it has its offices in Tel Aviv. Let's talk hip-hop. It's really be better. The founders are Israelis, but there isn't anything in Israel. But it's like, it's Israeli.
Yeah, no, and I think, but you served in the Israeli army, and that's one of the things I love about LA and kind of big cities. Don't get me wrong, the crowds are showing their problems, whatever else right now, but that collision of culture, collision of idees, and it's kind of cool that we're taking that online. Now it's not just your region, but we get to connect the world,
It's great. Listen, big city, the beauty about big cities is that they're multinational, it's a melting pot. All the concept of New York, it's like in the changes of the neighborhoods, it's like this community stepped in, that community started to migrate out, and then they moved to the suburbs, right? At the end of the day, everyone is moving or to Florida or to Arizona. Well, in our age, who knows what will happen in like 50 years.
We had like the push out and then the push back into cities, and that's going to push people out of cities again. I think they're going to come back. It's all just swings, it's just part of.
It's part of the pendulum, most definitely. And I don't think it's a push out. It's most of the people are just looking for a better life or something that will suit their economic or whatever they're looking for. It's like, why should I live in New York if I can enjoy the suburbs? And especially nowadays that we are all in these apartments, hey, I prefer to have a yard. I would like a backyard so I can, have a little bit. Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah, well, now I appreciate you breaking down what's coming up for ITC in LA, and it's fun kind of nerding out on the neighborhood for a little bit, but we'll catch you guys. What is it? It's only like 3 weeks out. That's awesome, for our LA event, and about a month for the ITC Global Day. But yeah, Gilad, thanks for breaking down what you're doing in the neighborhood. Thanks for all the hard work, and looking forward to, being around the event.
My pleasure, my friend.
Cool. Thanks, guys.